Let's take a look at systems linear equations, three variables by matrices on a T89. And first I'll show my website. This is www.mathheals.com. You can come here and you can find more links to YouTube videos. If I go to graphing calculators, I'll eventually change that to graphing calculator/technology. Then you can go to college algebra, and these are all the different topics you can do on a graphing calculator. And I'm going through and creating these for all the different models of calculators. Now, if you're wanting extra help in college algebra, then the top link here, math class information, I'll eventually rename that to math lectures. You go into that, go into college algebra, and here you can watch different lectures in YouTube format. Now, these are full lectures that I give in my normal class, same explanations, same examples. Okay. Well, let's look at our first problem here. We got 2x plus y minus 3z is equal to -6, and x plus 4y minus z is equal to -5, and 8x minus y plus 5z is equal to 32. Let me check the numbers and their signs. -6, okay, -3, -1, 5, -3, -1, 5, 1, 4, -1, 1, 4, -1, 2, 1, 8. Okay. Now, we want to write down the matrix that corresponds to this. We're going to drop our x's, y's, z's, and equals. Keep the numbers and their signs. So I got 2, 1, -3, -6, 1, 4, -1, -5, 8, -1, 5, and 32. Okay, we're going to go enter this in. Now the size of this matrix, size is represented by rows by columns. So this is 3 rows by 4 columns. So this is a 3 by 4. Okay, so my calculator, I should exit out of that, but second, escaped, quit out of that. You probably weren't in that. Okay, I'm going to clean these out. There we go. Now press my apps. And we want to go into the data matrix editor. So I'll choose 6, the number's in front of it. Now I'm going to do new, but it'll give me an error because I already have a matrix entered in it as A. But let me choose 3 for new, because I want to show you what you would do at home. Okay, the type is data. If I do the right arrow key, we want matrix. So I'll press the 2 that's in front of the matrix. Okay, and I'm going to down arrow twice, go to variable, and I'm going to call it A. So I'm going to do an equals, because that's the A's above the equals. And then I'll down arrow to row dimension. I still got the alpha on, so I'll press the alpha one time. And we said this was 3 rows, so I'll do 3, down arrow, 4, down arrow, 4 columns. And once we got that how we want it, then we do enter to go ahead and save it. Now when I do that, that'll give me a variable or flash application in use, because I already got it defined. Like I said, you shouldn't have that problem unless you've already got A defined. So I'll press escape twice to get out of that. And if you already have it defined, how you go in to change it is you go back to apps, choose 6 for data matrix editor, and I want to choose 2 for open. And type is data, so I'll do a right arrow key, and I want to choose matrix. So I'll press 2. I'm a down arrow, and you see I got A here. If I do a right arrow, this will list all the different matrices you have defined. Now I only have A, so I only got one choice. And then if I press enter on that, and then I press enter one more time, it'll bring up the old matrix. Now this may or may not be the size that you want. To resize it, we want to go into the utility menu. You see it says F6. To get to F6, it's above my F1, so I do second F1. And then you see number 6 is Resize Matrix. So I'll press 6. Now this is already the right size, but if it wasn't, I'd put 3 for my rows, down arrow. I'd put 4 for my columns, down arrow, and then I'd press enter to save that. And then that'll resize your matrix. Okay, I'm going to type in each one of these numbers, pressing enter after each one. So I do 2 enter, 1 enter, -3 enter, -6 enter, 1 inner, 4 inner, negative 1 inner, negative 5 inner, 8 inner, negative 1 inner, 5 inner, and 32 inner. Now let me double check my numbers. Negative 6, negative 5, 32, negative 3, negative 1, 5, 1, 4, negative 1, 2, 1, 8. Now after you get that entered in, you want to exit out. So we'll do second escape to quit. Okay, now we got that input in as A. And I could do alpha equals and then press enter on A, and you see our matrix we just entered. Okay, now I'm going to do Rref. That stands for reduced row echelon form. Drawing a blank. That's sad. Okay, so I'm going to press clear to clear that out. And I'm going to go into my math. So I do second 5. Brings up my math menu. And I want to choose a matrix, which has a 4 next to it. So I do 4. And we want Rref. We want one with 2 R's. So I'll press the 4 that's in front of it. Now we need to do Rref on what? And we put our matrix into A. So I do alpha equals for A. Closing parentheses, enter. Okay, so what we get is 2, negative 1, 3. Okay. 3 equations, 3 variables. Our first 3 by 3 here should be a diagonal 1, 0, 0 else. That's what Rref means in terms of this particular type of problem. It's actually a little bit more than that if you go and take linear algebra, but we'll go with that for our purposes. If you have that diagonal 1, 0, 0 else, it means it worked. And your answers are the far right column. So this will be x, this will be y, and this will be z. How do I know it's in that order? Well, we put our x in the first column, we put our y's in the second column, we put our z's in the third column. The order of your columns here tells you the order of your answers. And usually you write this with parentheses around it. So we got 2, negative 1, 3. And that's our answer. Okay, let's look at our second one here. So we got x minus 3y plus z is equal to 8. 4x plus y minus 2z is equal to 7. 5x minus y plus 3z is equal to 4. So 8, 7, 4, 1, negative 2, 3, negative 3, 1, negative 1, 1, 4, 5. Okay, let's write down the matrix goes along with that. We'll drop our x's, y's, z's, and their equals and keep the numbers in their signs. So I got 1, negative 3, 1, 8. Got 4, 1, negative 2, 7. 5, negative 1, 3, and 4. And let me double check all that. Okay, now it's a 3 by 4 again. So let's go input this in. I'll press clear on that. I'll go to my apps. I want to choose 6 for data matrix editor. And I want to do an open because remember we already created A. And if you followed along with the first example, you should have A already created, so you can go directly to open. Now the type says data. I want to do a right arrow key, and then I want to choose 2 for matrix. Down arrow twice, and if you do a right arrow, you should come up with a list of all your matrices. And if you haven't done very much with matrices, you probably only have 1 here. So we'll do enter on A. You may have to down arrow or whatever to get to A on yours. And then we press enter again. Now I know it's already a 3 by 4, but I want to emphasize how to resize it. We want to go into our utility, so F6, so I do second F1. We choose 6 for resize. And then we do 3, down arrow, 4, down arrow, and then you press enter to save that. And we'll resize it for you. Again, I just wanted to emphasize where the resize was. Okay, now I'll type in each number, pressing enter after each one. So 1 enter, negative 3 enter, 1 enter, 8 enter, 4 enter, 1 inner, negative 2 inner, 7 inner, 5 inner, negative 1 inner, 3 inner, 4 inner. Okay, we got 8, 7, 4, 1, negative 2, 3. I'm just checking all my signs. Negative 3, 1, negative 1, and numbers. 1, 4, 5. Want to exit out. So we'll do second escape to exit out. Now I'm going to do an up arrow and then do my backspace here to clean all that out. Okay. Now we want to choose our Rref. So I go to my math menu. So I do second, 5. And then we want to choose our matrix, which is 4. You press the numbers in front of it. And then we want to choose our Rref. So press the 4 in front of that. Now we need to tell it Rref of what, and we put ours in A. So I do alpha equals to get A, closing parentheses, and then enter. Okay. So we got 1, 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 0, 0, 1, 42 over 29, negative 83 over 29, and negative 59 over 29. 3 equations, 3 variables. Our first 3 by 3 square should be a diagonal 1, 0, 0 else. If it isn't, then it didn't work. So if you have that, then your far right column is your answer, and this will be X, this will be Y, and this will be Z. Again, it's the same order as your columns. These were our X values, our Y values, and our Z values. And we'll put parentheses around them. So we got 42, 29, negative 83, 29, and negative 59, 29. Now that was already in fraction form, so that worked out pretty nice. On your calculator, if I were to press mode here, and then down arrow, and keep down arrowing, you could have just went to page 2, but I'm trying to see where it's at. Here it is, exact approximate. See it says auto. If I do a right arrow key here, and instead of auto, if I choose approximate, so I have that one there, and do enter on it, and then do enter to save. Now if I do Rref, see how we get decimals? Well, that's easy enough. If you're looking for exact values, you're not looking for the decimals, in mode, let me go to page 2, let me do F2. There it is. Where it says exact approximate, you can right arrow over, and you can choose exact if you want to force it, or you can come up here and choose auto, and press enter, and then enter to save that. And now if I do Rref again, you see we get our exact answers, not the decimal approximations. So anyway, that's how you can control whether you want to see decimals or exact fractions when using the Rref method. Now that was solving 3 equations, 3 variables on a T89 using an Rref, reduced row echelon form.